Hello, everyone. My name is Jaden Williams. Welcome to the very first episode of the Jaden Williams Podcast. I'm thrilled to finally be here. This has been a long time coming. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a 24-year-old content creator who started my career as an amateur filmmaker when I was 9 years old, and I've had a passion for it ever since. Roughly 11 years later, I found success through TikTok, creating quality comedy sketch videos that also led to developing a gaming side of the brand. And I'm grateful to say that we've truly built a business out of it that I can be proud of. And I hope to continue this journey for many years to come. I know we have a bunch of questions in the air about what this will be. So let's get right into it. What is this? This podcast is a passion project about life, plain and simple. This isn't supposed to be some unserious, carefree channel. Throughout my career, I've kept my personal life pretty private. And I genuinely believe this approach has been healthy, but I also recognize it has kept a distance between us. And that may be fine. Not everyone needs to share their personal life to connect, but I feel like there's room to grow. And I think it's been more about my ambitions in life and what I want to do with it. And though yes, I fortunately have been blessed with this tremendous 8 million follower viewership online through the comedy sketch videos and gaming content, but I want more out of my career than just lighthearted entertainment. To tell you a little bit about myself, things you may have not known, I'm a proud Christian man. I went to school and got my bachelor's degree in software engineering. Since childhood, short films have been my life. I love software and game development as much as I love creating videos. I'm a proud, grateful American patriot. And at the end of the day, I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I sin. I feel pain, love, regret, happiness, grief, joy, fear, pride, shame, hope, and loneliness. And I feel like we've really drifted away from that idea as a society, the simple truth that we're all human. And as young and naive as I may be, I truly believe that, let alone the fact that we're children of God, a truth that should already call us to be better. But it feels like modern society has become selfish, self centered, forgetful of how to care for each other. But I do know that we strive to be good. We strive to help others, learn from our mistakes. But I think the world with the internet has become a much more self aware place where we've become so desensitized to not only this euphoria, but pain. We're so used to seeing this sensory overload of emotion online that it's taken away genuinely feeling it for each other. And that's what I want to do. I want to give back a little bit, that humanity, through talking about my own life experiences, having you, the audience, send in voice recorded questions, having guests on to talk about their life, career, philosophy behind their drive in this ever changing world. And that's it. I want this podcast to pursue goodness for all of humanity and for God. I am on this earth for a small portion of time, and I want it to mean something. Clearly, at this point, my online persona will ironically outlive me due to my face now being spread across all corners of the internet, but I want to know that what I left also helped teach and inspire people. I believe this is what I'm supposed to do. Whether it's through my drive to do good or through, God's guidance or both, that's why I'm wanting to start this podcast. Once again, thank you so much for considering giving this a listen, and I cannot wait to see what this whole experiment has to offer. With that being said, let's dive into the second segment of the podcast. As I mentioned earlier, this past month I reached out to our community on Discord to gather some of your questions. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into the first one.
Hello, my name is Seth. I'm currently an aspiring game developer learning computer science, and video editing has been a pretty big hobby for me. I'm a small creator and I really enjoy making videos, and I've always loved your content because the way you do things is very clever. I'd love to hear your advice with content creation to help inspire me as I continue to grow. Things like, where did your career start and what content did you make when you were a smaller creator? How did you grow from there and what lessons did you learn as you grew more and more popular?
Oh man, thank you, Seth, so much. That's a great question. Just advice for creators and where I started. And thank you for being the first question ever on the podcast. Not that you had a decision in that, but nonetheless, thank you. Um, like I said earlier, I kind of started filmmaking or whatever you want to call it, being a creator or just making videos. That's what it boils down to, right? Just loving making, little pieces of footage online that people hopefully enjoy, fingers crossed. I started when I was about 9 years old. And for, the past decade and a half, I've been trying to, and now recently have finally succeeded. I've grown on YouTube, and I've grown on TikTok and Instagram, TikTok being the first. But it really boiled down to me being so passionate about that. And you hear that all the time. It's like, oh, you got to be passionate about creating videos, and it's like you really do, because at the end of the day, there's people who love watching football or love watching Minecraft or love watching Call of Duty or just any form of entertainment or whatever it is. There's people, you could watch UFC fights, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be the person that is in the ring or that you're on the football team or that you are the Minecraft commentator or that you even like Minecraft or something. And my whole point with this is that just because I think there's this miscommunication or it gets misconstrued that just because you love like watching something online doesn't necessarily mean you are going to love doing it yourself. Okay. And so that's the first thing you need to realize is, am I so passionate about the thing that is being produced? I love creating videos. I love creating short films. That's what I've always viewed it as. I know a lot of people see it as me making silly TikToks or me making, funny little YouTube shorts, but I see it as these like genuine little short film pieces that will be with me the rest of my life. Um, and that's what I've loved. And now that I've finally reached this point where now millions of people are seeing it on a daily or weekly, daily basis, and it's incredible. It's the most addictive thing ever, and more because I'm obsessed with it. Okay, and these are the cons. Not even the cons, but when it came to playing video games or playing sports, I did tennis when I was younger and maybe a little bit of basketball. But when it came to what I did in my free time, I was video editing when I was young as well. When I was like super young, and like I'd get home and I would edit, and that's what I was obsessed with. So I think one of my biggest thing for like young creators and just advice I can give is you have to be so passionate about it that there's nothing else you want to do. Because if your idea is like, if you get bored of it and you're like, man, I really want to go play video games or I really want to go hang out with my friends, that's great. Maybe you can have this as a hobby. Maybe this you have to think of the grand scheme of things and say, does that mean this mindset that I have, is that going to be a lifelong, full-time job that I'm going to have? Like, is that going to be the mindset I have? Like, you have to be so passionate about it that spending 12 hours editing something or working on a script or, dealing with like sitting in front of beating lights and all that is worth it to you because you love it so much. And for me, it's the results. I love the results. I love seeing the final piece and seeing people react to it. And that's what I love the most, growing up in like middle school and high school, participating in these, film festivals. And fortunately, from like, I think it was sixth grade or seventh grade, sixth grade to 12th grade, every single year I got proudly first place every single year, and then a couple best of shows throughout like the whole film festival as well. And it was just the most like it was the most euphoric feeling ever. And I realized, like, I'm blessed to say, at an early age, I realized what I loved, and there's not a lot of people that get to say that. And so I immediately started focusing my path towards that. And ever since, it took me, and look, in the grand scheme of things, look how long it took me. It took me well over a decade plus to finally start succeeding. If I started at 9 years old and then I started finally doing well at 20 something, I mean, that shows how long it took. And yeah, the algorithms change and things work and things don't, but understand this wasn't like, it wasn't, going to just magically happen because it's like, oh, wow, well, clearly he's just, no, I was so passionate about it that I didn't care about the success. And then with that mindset, the passion and success, or I should say the success comes with it. You know, that's the result of you just having such a passion for it, you don't even care about it. And then hopefully in the long run you do succeed, and then it, you know, fortunately becomes your full-time job. And that's for me, that's my dream, right? I love doing this. I love creating short films and all that, these short pieces. And maybe even one day I make a full-fledged film, you know, full-length film. And uh, you know, that would be a crazy thought. But I hope, you know, that kind of answers some of your questions. And when I was younger, I pretty much was doing the same thing. I was making little skits and doing funny videos. I was into VFX a lot. I loved making little VFX videos because I got obsessed with visual effects and trying to do like Blender, 3D Blender stuff, and using After Effects, trying to do like a lightsaber and everything. Um, but the stress of it all, because you know it's so finicky at times. If anyone's dealt with Adobe, they know that. But uh, it didn't matter. It didn't matter at the end of the day. I was so passionate about it that it was almost like I think I can genuinely say, genuinely, I know this sounds maybe like ignorant or something, but if you are so passionate about filmmaking or making gaming videos, or you're a dancer and you love creating pieces for people to see online, or whatever it may be, and this goes beyond filmmaking and making videos and being a creator. This is for anything in life, right? Is that if you are passionate enough with it, uh, you know, the results will come. You know, they if you stay dedicated and you see a route of success with this passion, the success will be achieved. I hope that answers your question, Seth. Thank you.
Hello, Jaden. My name is Santiago. I enjoy doing a variety of creative and artistic endeavors as a personal hobby and just for fun. But perhaps I would one day make it my profession. I'm asking this question today to see what might be a good amount to invest in one's creative pursuits. So my question for you is how much money have you invested over the years in terms of equipment and resources for your content? And a small bonus question, what do you use to style your hair? Mine refuses to stay up like that, but I would like it if it did. Thank you.
That's hilarious. Thank you. You know what took me like 20 something years to finally figure out is volume powder. It's just that little powder. I came across it on TikTok. My goodness, because like gel and hairspray and all that was so like wet and like or like clay and stuff. Anyway, just get like volume powder. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking about this on a podcast. Thank you. But yeah, investing into your content. I think it's all. I'd argue it all depends on your success, right? So obviously, people at the tippity top, we're talking about Mr. Beast, all them, right? You know, PewDiePie, Markiplier, um, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, people of different, you know, divisions of the industry and all that. It depends on where you are, and that's how much money you're going to spend. So these guys are obviously spending millions on, you know, marketing, and you know they have huge marketing budgets and they have teams and all that. Obviously, when you're starting off, you're not going to have that. You're not going to do that because you're going to be in financial debt the rest of your life, just like me. If I spent millions of dollars right now, I wouldn't be, you know, seeing profit probably for a while. But nonetheless, my point is that, you know, you take it with when you need it. Okay. So if you're starting off and you have, you know, 50 followers, 100 followers, 1,000 followers, and you're not, you know, obviously you're not getting sponsorships. You're not probably going to be seeing sponsorships until it's really pushing it. I would say 50,000 followers, depending on the platform. I'd say my first sponsorship was around 100,000. And not that sponsorships are, you know, this, you know, statement of saying when you should spend more money on your, you know, production and all that, but it lets you know, like, okay, now I might be able to start, you know, profiting a little bit from these, you know, videos, these projects I'm working on. Um, so I would say go with the flow. Try not to overthink it. If you need a tripod, don't get a an extremely expensive tripod that, you know, costs $150. Get something more affordable. Get a camera that doesn't cost $3,000. You don't need that. I don't have that. I just got a new Canon R50. which is less than $1,000 for this podcast. And I got things with it, a teleprompter, I got a laptop, we got the set and everything. I've had the studio lights, and there's a lot of things I use. I did get another tripod, but I have a green screen and the lights I use, for both me filming my skits and this podcast. But I I think you should I think you should look at it like when you need things, that's when you get it, right? So if you feel like you finally need a green screen after you've really have mastered, and I'm saying in the context of me making skits, right? So if you're making skits or something, you don't need to worry about a green screen. You don't need to worry about high end editing. Make funny cuts, make up great ideas, and post it to TikTok. Build a following, and then you can start to see, oh, this worked well. People are complaining about the quality. I'm at 1,500 followers now. Maybe I even said I was going to get a new phone soon. Like, you see, it's like, don't just like invest into your production. If you can find a way to just upgrade your life in general, so like if you could get a new phone and that has a better camera, it might be worth it. Like, oh well, for an extra $50 I can have an even higher quality camera on my phone, and then that's a great way to up your production quality for your social media platforms, right? But I would say my biggest thing is I would say it should be based on uh, your growth and sponsorships. So if you're seeing sponsorships that are, you could be getting something that's, $100, $500, $1,000 and upward. I've been growing and I've been working hard for it. Once you start seeing profits, ad revenue, sponsorships, you start seeing things paying for the production. That's when you reinvest into your own business, and that's what it is. You're growing a business if you don't realize it. And that's what I've been doing slowly but surely. It's like, I didn't spend $300,000 to, not that none of this has cost that, but my point being is like I didn't spend all that at the start to get going, and neither should you anywhere near that. Not even you should really shouldn't lift a finger when it comes to finances right at the start. I genuinely believe that. There's so much free software now as well. Filmora, DaVinci Resolve. You can do trials for Adobe products. There's student discounts. So when it comes to editing, things are so inexpensive now, or at least more affordable, I should say. So there's so many options. So I would argue and say, start off by concerning yourself with growing as affordably as you can, early on. Then once you're, 100,000 follower mark, you're starting to get sponsorships that are starting to pay off these things. That's when you can start investing back into the business, right? Because that's what they tell you. When you start making money from a business, you should put it right back in, right? You should try to and start to build the whole channel, the whole social media following you have to make better and better videos. I hope that answers your question. Thanks.
Hey Jaden, it's me, Hassan, also known as Zena. So what I wanted to ask is, how did you start the BeamNG series? What caused the idea to start this, and how did you take it from just a concept to the hit it's become today?
Oh my gosh, what I'm so glad someone asked this. This is hilarious. Beam and G. I'm telling you, okay, this is gonna be I'm so blessed and thankful for like my following and creating videos and content online. When you get that chance to grow a following at some point, right? Something blows up, something goes viral. I feel like that happened twice for me. I mean, if you saw, and I'm saying this all in like the most humble way ever, I was so beyond shocked when my BeamNG skyrocketed. My friend and I love physics games for one. I love games that deal, like, I love Human Fall Flat. I love Fall Guys. I love all these games that kind of have like ragdoll physics or like destruction physics or whatever. Teardown's an amazing game. Gary's Mod. And so I love just the dynamic scenarios that happen in those games. And my friend and I, we have played BeamNG for years, and I thought, like, I'm always like, man, I should get like one of those rigs to drive around. And I remember seeing, you see those couple people online that have like done those funny car crashes, and I've never tried to, state that I was the original person who did all of this. But I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was telling my friend, I was like, man, I should like I got this. I'm trying to grow a gaming channel at the time. I was trying to like really start off my gaming channel. We were at maybe like, I don't even know, 40,000 followers. There's nothing organic really growing. It was more me moving my skit followers to the gaming channel, which in the grand scheme of things probably wasn't good, but nonetheless, it was me trying to like get a gaming following to grow because I wanted to, expand um, just our community, just our reach, enter different mediums and all that. And I just thought, like, well, okay, well, this sounds hilarious. And you know what? People might like that I'm doing a character, just like my skit channel, why they follow me in the first place. Let me just do that on the gaming channel. Let me try it and see and like do funny, those videos I saw were hilarious. And so I'm like, let me try to do that, but like add some role playing to it, some character development, some just a funny southern accent. You kids okay? Shoot, crap, man. Like just like the iconic idea of like a dad being like aggressive and being like, you get your hand away from the AC. You stop. You stop right now. Like that is just hilarious. And it's so relatable. That's what made it so funny. And I realized before I even started, I'm like, shoot, like this is like, I think this is like a really good idea. And then I did a stream and I streamed on like YouTube and Twitch. And I noticed I was getting hundreds of viewers like coming in really fast. And typically, just to get some context, typically my viewership was like, maybe 100, maybe 200, during a live on the gaming channel, if that, if I was lucky. Because again, it was like maybe 20, 40,000 followers at the time, subscribers. And so this live stream started growing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to reach like 1,000 live viewers right now. And I realized people were like loving it. People were like, like donating and like they started saying dad automatically. They were saying like, dad, don't drive off the cliff or whatever, or, whatever the scenario was. And I posted it as an edited down long form video and it blew up. We posted shorts as well, and that's what I think really triggered it because it was one long form video and like maybe 2 dozen shorts of me getting into these funny little car crashes and reacting, and it cuts, so it's like perfect retention, right? It's like hilarious retention, really to the point and all that. It's perfect for short form, and I'm not kidding when I say it. Within uh, a week, 2 weeks, I went from, 20,000 followers to over 100,000. And within those 2 months, I made over 150 million views. It was the biggest skyrocket I've ever seen in my following ever, besides when YouTube Shorts started on the Skit channel. So I uploaded all my shorts. They weren't shorts back then, they were just like vertical videos. And YouTube converted them to shorts, and that skyrocketed my channel from uh, 40,000 to a million within like 2, 3 months. That was crazy. But BeamNG for the gaming channel was a second lottery, and that's what I'm trying to get at. It was like a second time I went like almost like as if I went viral for the first time. It was the craziest thing, and people, I don't even know how to explain it. Like I became, and I'm saying this all like again humbly, and I'm so grateful, and I think it's hilarious that it all happened, but I was literally like a literal like a meme. Usually I'm just like a creator making skits and all that, and I've never felt like a meme or something. But I was like a literal like meme on the internet for probably like a week or so. Like I'm saying like in like when like at peak time and all that. And ever since it's still been like, super successful. But we have videos on TikTok and YouTube that have like 40 million views, just like a short. And I'm still like, a huge piece of kind of like the growth of the gaming channel is still coming from those original videos from the first stream I ever did. So it all boiled down to just this hilarious idea of what I, again, there you go. It's like what I was passionate for, what I found hilarious. I added my own, style and gimmick to it. And God, it freaking did wonders. It was absolutely incredible. I had so many like creators reach out to me. People like streamers were reacting to me. Um, Ninja was following me. Ninja has been following me for a very long time. And he was like literally one of the original creators that like he's kind of crazy. He's like been with me since the start. Like when I first like did well with this skit I did called 2040 Kids. It was the first skit I did, and it was a gaming video. Funny enough, because all my content used to be gaming content, like comedy skit gaming content. And my first like viral video that got now it has over like 5 million views or something on TikTok. Like Ninja followed me, and 2 3 years later, BeamNG happens, and I reach out to him because my Twitch following went from 200 followers to 50,000 in like a week's time. And so I text him on TikTok because TikTok has a messenger thing, and I say, "Hey man, obviously I'm a big fan. We've like spoke back and forth a little bit, but I'm just wondering, do you have any advice with Twitch? I was asking about the partnership thing. Like, do I do it? Does it like should I wait? I was just asking him, and he's like, "Oh, just call me. Here's my number." And I'm like, uh, "Oh my yeah, oh my God, yeah, of course." I mean, and so he gives me his number. He is the nicest guy ever. Okay, I mean his I don't know how to explain it. He was so open with like talking to me about Twitch and streaming and dedication and like being able to communicate with fans. And I mean, and obviously we know Ninja is massive. Yeah, but anyway, so he literally did. He was being so kind to me and like just helping me with all of that, and probably just a simple way to me to brag about him talking to me. But nonetheless, I it was an incredible experience, just all of it. And BeamNG has still been so fun and just doing all sorts of characters, but. It totally boiled down to being passionate about something, finding it absolutely hilarious, putting my own spin on it, and then I was lucky that it just hit the jackpot, and I couldn't be more grateful for it either. On to the next question. Thanks.
Hello, Jaden. My name is Orhan. I'm from Turkey. Well, I was born in America, of course. My question is to you, and despite all like your success and stuff, um, what are some things that you regret, or like if I were to do something similar, what would you recommend avoiding, or something like what mistakes specifically should people avoid?
Oh, that's a great question, Orhan. I appreciate it. I hope I said your name right. Don't cancel me, please. Yeah, thank you. So, gosh, regrets. More recently, just like as I've been like this kind of, I don't know, bigger creator or whatever you want to call me. When I started my gaming channel in the last like year or two, I was really trying to move my skit channel. I tried to advertise from my skit channel to get them to go to my gaming channel, and you can clearly see how that's affected me because BeamNG has been a very successful thing as I mentioned, and uh, it's still skit related, and so I think that's something that I've maybe done. Of course, it helped me succeed because it started me off at maybe like 20 40K subscribers. I don't know when I started to push my skit channel to my gaming channel, but I think it's been hard to wean off of needing to require characters on the gaming channel. So like if what my point is that what happens is if I don't play a character on the gaming channel, the views don't do as well. I think that's the best way to put it. And so I think a mistake that happens is if you try to grow anything inorganically, there's going to be repercussions with it. And so that's something that I feel like happened to me. And obviously, we've done well on this long run and everything, but early on I was really struggling to grow the gaming channel. And because I helped incorporate characters into it, it did help make it skyrocket through that viral hit of BeamNG. But I'd say one of my biggest regrets is that. I think it's really tough though in general to try to really look back and like see what I regret. I mean, honestly, I'm so stressed out already that like the idea of like looking back and thinking about what I could have possibly done wrong is like it's not like good mentally. But I think that's probably like one of the simpler things is yeah, like trying to force inorganic viewership. I don't think it's a good approach. You should let things grow organically. Obviously, advertise, try to get yourself out there, but don't, force people, be like, hey, go check this out. If you watch the whole thing, like whatever. It's like you're getting an audience that doesn't like that content, but they're going over because you told them to or whatever. And that happened to me at the start, but we have grown from there. I'm trying to think about anything else, like in the grand scheme of things. I would say I think mistakes is me stressing at times. That's something I'm still working on. I am a very stressed out individual on occasion, especially with sponsorships and everything. Um, Also, don't have an ego early on with when you get your sponsorships. Okay, something that happened with me, and not that I mean, I've always been grateful about what I've been given, and I have been so thankful. And I think everyone I've ever worked with, and like just you guys, the viewers, I appreciate it so much. But I would say with sponsorships early on, like I was always like really being like, hey, I'd really love to do this. And they're like, oh, well, we'd like you to keep this formatting. We want you to like, hold the product or something like that. And you can, when you're a newer channel, a younger channel, you don't have a lot of wiggle room. And that was something I was really fighting for at lower budgets. So these guys would be spending, not a, huge amount. And then I'm like dictating, uh, what I want to do, and they're like, "Listen, man, this is $250." They're like, "We're just gonna go to someone else. That's it. We don't care." And so I would say like, because I'd always want to strive to make the best, video form, best product. But I would say like if clients, sponsorships and all that in the future have, kind of certain rules and guidelines and all that, be sure to try not to press them too much. If you think there's something that you can bring that will bring more viewership, obviously bring that up, but don't stress over it. If someone's like, hey, we'd like it this way, be like, all right, hey, I tried. I'd love to do it this way. You want it this way? That's okay. You're the client. I want to make you happy. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about making the client happy, the customer happy, and then hopefully making a relatively good video out of it for the viewers to see. So yeah, I would say don't push the two things that I've kind of regretted is try not to push uh, aggressively inorganic viewership from either channel to channel or trying to reach out to a bunch of different weird demographics from wherever on the internet. And then my second is when one day you might get an opportunity to have a sponsorship or something, be humble about it. Be like, I love this, and always be thankful and grateful and be appreciative and like, be very professional. Even though you're making TikToks or YouTube, these are clients that are huge marketing agencies typically. And hopefully if you leave a good uh, feeling with them that they might come back and ask you again someday.
Hello, my name is Nathan. I'm from Canada. And Jaden, I was just wondering, what did you want to be when you grow up? Like when you were a kid, besides content creating? I'm curious. Just want to know.
Oh, thank you, Nathan. Yeah, it's such a wholesome question. Gosh, I mean, man, when I was like young, maybe like a dentist or something, but like that was just because I'm like, oh, that seems like a fun thing. But I was very, again, passionate with filmmaking, so I'd say like being a director or actor or producer, whatever it may be. And as I've gotten older, I've been more about the production side. I don't care as much about being the face of it all, as ironic as that sounds. I think at the end of the day, if I could be producing content without necessarily being the face of it, I definitely think I would. I would enjoy it. I think I like the reaction people get out of, whatever acting I do. My acting side loves that. But I think I love producing pieces that people see regardless if I'm, on with my face or whatever. Um, but I did go to school for software engineering, and so I have for a long time been in love with software development, and I love coding. I love C Sharp. I love Python. I love. I'm working on some machine learning projects right now with a game in Unity I'm working on. We'll discuss that maybe some other day if someone asks. But regardless, I kind of most of my obsession over the years has been about creating, whether that's through coding or a camera, or even when I was younger, I loved drawing and painting and all that. So I would say when it comes to like where I am now in relation to like kind of what I was thinking when I was younger, I'd say I'm so grateful to say that I've gotten to where I wanted to be when I was younger, which is I guess like a YouTuber, TikToker, content creator. Um, everyone dreams about being like YouTuber, and like my God, it freaking happened. It's just such a crazy like I'm sitting here like doing my first podcast episode. How weird is that? But yeah, Nathan, thank you for the question. I hope that answers it.
Hi Jaden, my name is Oleg and I'm a video editor from Russia. I have a question for you. How do you handle stress? What helps you get rid of thoughts like, I'm not doing enough? Have you ever thoughts like that? And if you manage to overcome them, what advice would you give? Thank you.
Oh man, yeah, that is such a good question and a serious one too, because it's something, as I mentioned a bit ago, I've been dealing with recently. Um, being a content creator, YouTuber, TikToker, whatever you want to call it. I've tried to never call myself influencer because my God, is that so, so obnoxious. But I guess that's what I am. I don't know. I have my friends, like people like I'm always happy to like, take photos or someone recognizes me and I'll talk to them. But it's like I don't feel like famous or anything like that, but my friends are like, "Oh my God, it's so crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it's just people know me from some stupid videos I made." But, it can get stressful. It can get stressful. And the biggest thing that you don't realize is that, on the outside you realize like pretty quickly like, "Oh my gosh, this is a business. I'm running a business," and being now full time with this, self-employed uh, thing I'm doing, I make my own money, right? It's no one else but me. And so you do have to think about that. Like, do I want to take, obviously the employment route through, I could have kept being persistent with software engineering and tried to get into Microsoft or Netflix or Amazon, Facebook, any of the, huge top dogs and try to work there. And they have great, opportunities and benefits and all that. Or do I take the route of, being my own boss and all that? And it's been great, but yes, it's been stressful. And so I'm not even kidding, it's such a relevant question for me. Recently I've started to force myself to take weekends off. I've really tried hard to kind of just cut off the computer, do other things, and not even like the computer. Like if I can play, I can game or whatever, and just be with friends. But like it's so easy to want to like keep editing a video, and then you realize like I was doing it. I was like editing 24/7. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even giving myself a break. Even though I love it, so much. I was never giving myself a break. And so it started to be like very stressful. And then when sponsorships come up, those are probably the most stressful for me. Those are the most stressful times is when sponsorships come up because they have deadlines, timelines, when, drafts, these scripts and concepts need to be delivered. And I go all out. I make a full-fledged script for every single, like a whole little screenplay with like the title, the proper, text and everything that they use in movies to pretty much make the size of each text line reach a 60-second time frame on a single page. That's how they do it in Courier New font, I think 11 point, if I'm correct. So I go like all out with everything. And so with that, um, times are a little nerve wracking. But yeah, I've been learning to just force myself, cut it off. I mean, it truly is an addiction at times. It absolutely is. And I've told myself, and I've realized this recently, is it's like I'm consuming this drug and I'm getting paid for it at the exact same time. So I'm getting paid to use these drugs, which is, being on the internet and having that, you know, just chronic internet addiction online. But I've learned to manage it because I tell myself this can wait. This can wait. This can wait. Relax. There's gonna be tomorrow. You did a lot today. You can relax. So I think it's been really about forcing myself to just step back and just breathe. I know that sounds as, cliche as it is, but maybe it's just this is what you need to hear to say, hey, whether you're in school or you're having a tough time at work and you got deadlines coming up, exams coming up, whatever it is, relax. Just take a second, take a breath. You're with me right now, right? You'll have this time again probably tomorrow or the next day, or if it's, the weekend, maybe next week sometime, whatever it may be. You're young, and that's what you always hear as well, right? You're young. You're probably young. If you're listening to me, you're probably like 9 years old. But you're you're so young. You got so much life in you. I've realized that finally. I'm 24, and I finally have realized, like, my God, I do have a lot of life in front of me. Maybe some of you don't think that, but whatever. That's rude. But yeah, just relax. Try to not think that everything is, so detriment and like, life threatening or something. Because that's how I've felt for a lot of these years, but I'm learning to deal with it. Thank you.
Hey Jaden, my name is Zach. I live in the absolute middle of nowhere. That's a fun fact about me. I want to know what your favorite part of the creative process is. Is it writing the scripts, making the characters, editing the video, posting the video, getting all the money from the video? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Zach. That's a great question. I mean, I definitely love the money. No, I literally, so my favorite thing, obviously I'm not I no one becomes a YouTuber or like a TikToker or anything because of the money, okay? That's just not the case because you're not going to see that money for a very long time, for years. And that's the honest to God truth. That is the honest to God truth. Maybe you might make, you get a viral video that gets 400,000 views on TikTok or something. You and your buds made some funny skit, and then it makes $16, right? TikTok. There's this idea that TikTok like makes everyone millionaires. It's just through like sponsors that come, but no one makes money on TikTok. I promise you. I'm grateful for my TikTok following, but I don't make anything from TikTok. Nonetheless, there's my little spiel with money. I love the results. I love reacting to. I don't even like seeing the number, like the viewer numbers, the likes. I don't care about. I always hear that all the time. Like, oh, I love seeing that like. Guys, I love seeing when you guys like the video and you share. And it's like I don't care about that. I care about the comments. I want to see how people reacted. I would love. You want to know this? I would love if every single skit I did could be shown at a theater where I could be sitting there with a bunch of you guys and we're all watching it together. You don't need a freaking, I don't need a talk. I don't need to be like, hey, it's great to be here, guys. Thank you. I don't care about any of that. I just want the live reaction of people enjoying the video. I love that so much. That's my kick out of all of it. I care about entertaining you guys and actually seeing the results from it. So if you can, if you get a chance, please this is a great segue. Please comment down below. No, but I love the just the input. I love it so much. It's how I grow as what I believe is a filmmaker. That's how I grow and how I learn to, make things better and try to inspire you guys and make you happy or make you sad or make you laugh or make something frustrating or angry. That's what I love. I love doing it. I love getting that reaction out of you guys. So that's my favorite part.
Hi, hey Jaden. This is your YouTube mod Jarrett. I was just curious. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm like 35 miles away from home. I don't know where I'm going. I really need this from you. Was there ever a food you enjoyed as a kid that you do not enjoy nowadays? I'm just curious.
Jarrett, what was with that lineup? My goodness. I think I might have to unmod you after that. I don't know. That was terrifying. No, foods. Oh my gosh. I love. You want to know something? I love steak a lot. This isn't, I guess, not when I was like a kid, but like middle school, high school, loved. I've been loving steak ever since I remember eating steak, and I've gotten to that point like every steak enthusiast where it's like you know that the filet mignon is supposed to be the best cut and like the best steak you can get or whatever, but you realize after eating it for so long that ribeye is actually the best cut, and I will die on that hill, and I will be buried on that hill. I'm happy with that. Um, but like something's happened recently where I think I'm like allergic to red meat or something now. I don't know what it is, but sometimes like I'll just get these horrible stomach pains, stomach aches, and like my lips will be like a little just fuzzy feeling. And so like I try to like avoid steak now, and it's one of my favorite foods ever. Imagine like your favorite food that you love, you then like because probably you eat it so much because I think that's something that your body does. Like I think there's something out there that there's science behind that. Don't quote me on it, but I think there is. But I it's fun. My body's finally rejecting like steak and red meat and all that because I've like eaten it for like a decade plus. But that's something. I wish there's probably something I can take. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments. But yeah, steak is something I absolutely love, and I still eat it. But there's a chance I might pass away from it. I don't know. All right, folks, we are on to the final question of the podcast. Let's hear it.
Hello, Jade. I'm Brett. I'm 22 years old, and I'm currently studying to become a nuclear engineer. However, I do have an interest in seeing how people react when made to think about existentialism. Let's get started. I have a few questions here. First question, have you ever stepped back to look at what you've accomplished and wondered, have I made it? Have I achieved what I've always wanted? If you have, then what do you do next? Second question, have you ever wondered how long you'll be doing this? The content you're currently making seems to be for your current fan base who is only aging alongside you. I'm sure your older content will show some interest in the younger generations over time, but have you ever wondered who your audience will be in the future? It could be the same few million people you've had from the start. Last question. Are you afraid of waking up one day and seeing people lose interest in you? The point where you stop gaining followers, where you're struggling with audience retention? Sorry if some of these questions were uncomfortable to think about, but fear not. Those of us who truly enjoy your content think of you as a close friend of ours, even though we may never become true friends in this life. We watch your videos and streams because of the way you make us feel. Almost like the feeling you get when a girl you have a crush on texts you back. So, no matter what you upload, just know that there are these people out here that are on this journey through life with you. And for that, I thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Kind of lost me at the end there with the girlfriend thing, but no, thank you. That's probably one of the best questions of the night here. But oh man, uh, I have gone back and forth because I'm very like there's something about me that I reflect a lot. I do a lot of reflection in my life, and I do think about. I think it's about me. Like, am I growing as a young man? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? And this being one this podcast being one of those things that I think I'm clearly expressing that. Trying to do more and more to better my being and what I feel like I'm set to do. But when it comes to like, I do like I think I have for I'm grateful to say I do believe I've succeeded. I absolutely do. I think we're still growing tremendously, and I think we have a long way to go. So I think that's the best way to put it. Is I feel like I've gotten past like the obstacle of growing a channel, trying to get people to understand, what you do, your niche, your brand, figuring all those things about your identity online and building that. And now, yeah, I'll go out and people recognize me almost every other place I go now, and it's terrifying. I'm so self-conscious, which by the way, I know it doesn't come across this way, but I'm very introverted. But please, if you ever do see me in person, please feel free to come up to me, even if you don't recognize me or like you remember this subconsciously in the back of your head. Like, I think he's fine with me walking up to him. Feel free to take a photo or whatever. I don't care. Or maybe you're like, dude, you make TikToks for a living. Just chill. And I'll be like, okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, I definitely think overall, I've made it and I have a long way to go. That's the best way I can answer your first question. And second, with the talking about like growth, and I do believe that's what like this is again, that I'm trying to grow into multiple markets, and I want to keep growing. I want to keep not only just like not even just the same demographic I have. I mean, I want to build an audience that is, that cares about exactly what you're saying, existentialism, and just, caring about life, and in my, perspective, faith and God, and what is this all about? You're watching me right now. Does this have any meaning to it? Maybe not at all. I don't know, but it's what I'm trying to, you know, you know, break away at. And I think I'm doing that, that thing correctly. I think I'm slowly doing it. And you should do the same if that's what you're passionate about and what you want to, kind of dive into. Um, yeah, irrelevance, relevancy, all of that is a super important question, not only to me personally, but just, I've got, my family a part of this now, and caring about, um, to keep growing this, keep maintaining this. Um, let's see, from a personal perspective, I think if I could, uh, not that I would like, if I won the lottery tomorrow, okay, let's say that. Let's say I won the lottery tomorrow, and I obviously financially never have to work again, as in make videos or do whatever ever again, anything ever again. I definitely believe I would still be making videos if it weren't, movies or something, because now I might be able to pay for my own movie budget or something. But I know I absolutely would, because it's what I'm passionate about. And so, like, relevance, irrelevance, I do this because I love seeing you react to the pieces I make online, called the internet, called YouTube, called TikTok, whatever. I love seeing your reaction, and that's what I care about. It's not about like, oh, I got to make sure to get as many views as I possibly can. And of course, when it comes to growing and running a business, I have to care about numbers at times, of course. I mean, everyone understands that. But to me personally, like Jaden Williams, me deep down and all that, I love making videos. I love doing it, whether it's 10,000 people, 100,000 people, 1,000 people, 10 people. Preferably, I'd love to see those 10 people in a room so I can get their live reaction. I think probably none of them would comment over the internet. They may not comment in person either. So that whatever. Maybe they'll say something to me. Maybe I'll be irrelevant. But um, I don't think that concerns me necessarily. Running a business, it does, of course. But understand that what I care about is you guys being entertained, whether you guys are the only ones, or we keep growing this, or we grow to different branches, or whatever it is. I've been enjoying every step in the journey. That concludes the very first episode of the Jaden Williams Podcast. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure to follow the podcast on YouTube and Spotify to stay updated on future episodes. Your feedback is important, so let us know in the comments who you'd like to see as a guest in the future. But before we go, I want to leave you with a verse from the Bible that resonates with where I am in my life, in my journey in the Word. In future episodes, these verses might also reflect the conversations I've had with guests. This will be a reoccurring part of the podcast, a moment to reflect and connect through Scripture. And what better way to conclude our first episode of the podcast than one that reflects the very purpose of bringing God into this series, to be a light to others and inspire them to glorify Him. Matthew 5:14 through 16. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. See you all next time.